every slide. So steps to layering skincare. I'm not really sure about you guys, but I know that when I first started really investing into my skin, it was a little confusing as to what products I should use, how to layer them, and pretty basic. It's just, you know, cleansing with whichever cleanser you use according to your skin type, toner, serums, eye cream, moisturizers, and sunscreen. All of these are pretty much vital. If you are on a budget and let's say you don't really have the money to spend on serums or eye cream, then I would recommend that you cut that down to a cleanser, a toner, a moisturizer, and definitely an SPF. You do not want to skip out on SPF because it does protect your skin from the sun, but it also seals in all of the moisture and all of the products that you did place on your skin right before. And when you are layering your skin, you want to make sure that you take some time between applying every single product just to allow your skin to absorb it before applying anything else. You know, I think that 2 to 5 minutes would suffice just to avoid skin peeling and skin products just kind of overlaying versus absorbing into the skin and really doing its job. Slide. Thank you. Hydration and moisture is a common battle. A lot of people confuse the two. One is not the same as the other. It's a huge, huge misconception. People tend to lather their face with coconut oil, shea butter, and they think that they are getting hydration when in reality, that is actually considered moisture. And hydration is all about water while moisture is all about oil. And oils don't hydrate the skin while water does. Skin types like dry skin are genetically formulated to be more dry, while African American skin types are genetically more oily or combination. So if you're lacking oil, you definitely need a lot more moisture, but if you are lacking hydration, you need a lot more water. So slide. Hydrating ingredients. Can we press a button so we can go next or not? Thank you. Hydrating ingredients are things like essences, toners, serums, and like gel-based face mask. A lot of people tend to confuse astringents for toners, and they are completely two different things. Rose water is not going to hydrate your face. Hazel, like witch hazel, is not going to hydrate your face. Sea breeze is not going to hydrate your face because those things are actually astringents, which are cleaning agents. And what astringents do is they deeply cleanse the skin, but they remove your skin's natural oil. And the oil that is really, really produced in your skin naturally is there to protect the external layer of the skin so that the water will not be lost. Your skin's natural hydration won't be lost. And there has to be a process in which your hydration and moisture seep in and out of the skin. And if you're constantly applying things like astringents or any sort of things like shea butter, you're gonna block the moisture from getting in and out of your skin. Just because your skin might be shiny after you put these things on does not mean that you are hydrated. It might mean that you are slightly moisturized, but at the same time, it will damage your trans external layer of the skin. So we don't want to do that. We definitely want to make sure that we're using hydrating ingredients. And one of the things that I want to touch base on when it comes down to gel mask is that gel masks are there to basically bind liquids into the skin. There's a lot of sheet masks that are out there in like Sephora, drugstores, and those actually contain glycerin or they're oil-based, which is actually going to make you break out versus being hydrated. So if you find that you have any breakouts like blackheads, I really recommend that you visit an esthetician to just kind of get those extracted. Slide. Okay. So this is a lot of information. It looks like a lot on the screen, but pretty much like basically like there are about 3 to 4 skin types. Sometimes people don't know their skin types, but sometimes they do. A lot of times people with the same skin type will have different skin concerns, so they have to treat their skin differently. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of more European-based, Anglo-Saxon-based genetic human beings have more of a dry or sensitive skin. The skin lacks oil, moisture, it can break out really quickly, it can get red really quickly, it can get flakes, it's super sensitive. So you're gonna wanna use a creamy cleanser when you're cleansing the skin. Hyaluronic acid is also your best friend. You never want to apply hyaluronic acid on dry skin. This is just something to keep in mind because it's actually going to perform adverse effects. And hyaluronic acid is there to plump and firm the skin as well as add moisture and hydration. So you're also going to want to stick to a mineral sunscreen over a chemical one, and I'm going to touch base on SPF a little later. And then you're only going to exfoliate once a week if you have dry or sensitive skin. You just don't want to really irritate the skin if you are exfoliating several times a week. It's just a no-no. Normal to combo skin typically means you have a T-zone that's oily, or you're oily on the forehead, maybe the cheeks and the chin or the nose, whereas other areas you might be a little more dry. So with this, you're gonna wanna exfoliate twice a week. You can use a foamy cleanser if you want. You can mix it up. Honestly, I like to use a clarifying cleanser just because I feel like it balances the oils on my skin, even though I'm not completely oily. And then of course with oily skin, you wanna use a clarifying cleanser like I just mentioned. And then you're gonna wanna limit to washing your face 2 times a day. Overwashing can lead to dryness and ironically more oil production. I've seen a lot of people who have oily skin who are constantly washing their face or constantly using astringents to kind of like clean the oils off the face. And quite frankly, the oil actually keeps you younger. It's a blessing to have oily skin. But if you do have oily skin, you're going to want to use ingredients like niacinamide. It's going to help regulate oil production and help with redness, acne, and hyperpigmentation, which is more of the dark spots and the scarring that comes from acne. And you never want to skip moisturizer, even if you're oily. You never want to skip moisturizer. I think a lot of people confuse the fact that because they're oily, they don't need to add any moisture, any hydration, but you should. Hydrated skin is always healthy skin, and this can actually help turn down how much oil your skin produces. So yeah, again, exfoliate twice a week if you have oily skin. But like I mentioned before, just because you might have the same skin type does not mean you might have the same skin concerns. So moving on, we're going to tackle some of the following concerns. Slide. We're going to talk a little about under eye dark circles, aging, acne, hyperpigmentation, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, and I don't know what else. We'll see. Slide. So under eye dark circles come from numerous things. It could be lack of sleep. It could be lack of water. One of the things to keep in mind is that the under eye area on the face is actually one of the very few areas of our entire bodies that do not produce its own oil, which is why, like, when you get older, it's really dry. You have fine lines quicker than you want to have them. You really need to make sure that this area is taken care of. So if you're someone who's like, I'm really starting to age, or I want to prevent aging, I want to be more proactive, I really recommend that you use a retinol, which is a lighter version of a retinoid. And retinol is going to stimulate collagen under the eye as well as fill in wrinkles. Vitamin C is going to block the abnormal pigment production, and it's going to brighten the area. Hyaluronic acid, which is a favorite ingredient of mine, is going to plump and hydrate the under eye as well. And since it plumps the skin, it's also going to fill out the eye socket. And then caffeine solution can also be used to depuff and minimize eye bags. Use cold tools to minimize inflammation, like jade rollers or eye rollers. And I really recommend that you keep those cold tools in the fridge, if not the freezer, just because they really help bring down inflammation in the morning. So if you're like on the go, you really just want to make sure you roll your eye to just, decrease any puffiness you might have. And then if creams aren't working, I really do recommend that you speak to a dermatologist, because there are other things that you can look forward to, such as injectables or laser to fill out the under eye area or to brighten it. But I prefer to go the natural route. It's all about being consistent. And I will be taking questions at the end. Okay. Slide. Aging. A lot of people have a hate-love relationship with aging. It's never going to be our best friend, but we just have to make peace with it, okay? And we have to just accept that this is just our natural part of life. And I think that one of the biggest things that plays a role in aging and people's reaction towards it is just how heavily it's looked down upon in the media, or all of these, again, like cosmetic surgeries that can be done to rewind and just, people want to cling on to their youth. It's a thing. So while we can't stop aging, we can pretty much try to slow it down, or at least try to make it look like we've slowed down our aging, right? So things that I really recommend for aging are vitamin C in your daytime routine, as well as sunscreen. Sunscreen is the #1 aging causing thing, period. Like the sun is going to, while it's very, very beneficial to you and it's super medicinal, it's also very harsh and can cause skin cancer, and just like it will accelerate your aging process. So not just with the skin, but also the hair. So I really recommend that you use, again, vitamin C in the daytime, as well as sunscreen, niacinamide, and then at night you're going to want to use a retinoid or a retinol. You can also use vitamin E, ferulic acid, hyaluronic acid, and if you go to the spa and you have the budget, I really recommend treatments like red light therapy, microneedling, chemical peels, massage, and hydrofacials. If you cannot afford a chemical peel, there are chemical peels that come in different brands and different stores. Like this one is from The Ordinary, and this is an AHA and BHA peeling solution. And I'll talk a little bit about this in a little bit later, but you're not supposed to combine AHAs, BHAs, PHAs, just because they're all different acids performing different things, which is why you're only allowed to have this one specifically on for 10 minutes. And this is from The Ordinary. Slide. So acne. There are different types of acne. There's comedonal acne, which are small bumps on your face. They look like whiteheads or blackheads. If you have those, I really recommend that you use a salicylic acid, which is going to penetrate and clear out pores, and then also improve texture. You can use that 1 to 2 times a week. On days off, you can use a retinoid. So like I said, you don't want to mix the acids together or the retinols. But if you're using a retinoid and you're pregnant, that's a big no-no. You're going to want to use something lighter, like a retinol, otherwise known as a bakuchi oil. This is a bakuchi oil that I have within my own company, and it's super lightweight. It goes on like a lotion. And I know a lot of people who say they don't like retinol because it dries out the skin, but this is super light. And again, you can use this, 3-4 times a night. And if you want to use it more, you just really, really want to space out the times in which you use the different acids. So if you're going to use salicylic acid in the morning, do that, but then really make sure that you deeply cleanse your skin at night before applying something like this. And then hormonal acne, that's something I struggled with growing up, even as an adult. Cystic acne, like hormonal acne, really painful. It's all in the jaw line, the chin. Really, you can treat this with a number of different ingredients. I personally stick to niacinamide, salicylic acid, retinol, and hyaluronic acid. Those have been my really, really greatest friends, as well as vitamin C. And my skin has cleared up a lot. There's also other things that I'm going to talk about a little later on what you can do if you do suffer from acne to help you with your acne. So we're going to touch base on treatment a little later. Other forms of acne also include papules, which are small, tiny bumps under the surface without pus. Pustules, which are inflamed, pus-filled sockets under the skin that can cause scarring. So you have to be really careful with that. Cysts, which are also pus-filled sockets under the skin. Nodules, fluid-filled sockets under the skin without pus. And then all of these things can be treated with topical solutions, but you have to be really careful because in my experience, dermatologists have prescribed really, really highly concentrated ingredients that actually, again, really dry out the skin or just doesn't help. It doesn't feel good on the skin. You can also do LED light therapy, chemical peels, facials, masks, and then you want to make sure that you're doing proper extraction to decongest the skin. Psoriasis. So psoriasis is really considered an autoimmune disorder. I know that it doesn't really seem that way, but it really is. It's your skin telling you there's something wrong with me inside. Like I need to really take care of my immune system. And it affects the skin by it causing just another top layer, overgrowth, right? A lot of bacteria. And then this can be due to, again, like your immune being really, really weak, your immune system being weak, but also different medications you might be taking, stress, infection, diet, weather, allergies. And while there's 7 types of psoriasis, there are 4 main ones. The one that's super, super common is plaque psoriasis. It's red, it's scaly, it's itchy, it's flaky. Then you have goutte, which is, it looks like a raindrop pattern, like little red dots on the skin. You've got pustular, which is solely on the palms of your hand and your soles of your feet. And then you have inverse, which is red rashes on the armpit, in the breast area, if you're a guy, in the groin area, and things like that. There is no cure to psoriasis, but there are treatment methods that you can do. So moving on to another concern is eczema. Slide. Eczema is also a form of sensitivity. It is dry skin. It's typically associated with allergies, so you have to double check the ingredients in every single thing that you use. Like you have to be super anal. You cannot use anything with fragrance, anything with metals, anything with nickel. If you're a woman and you have eczema, and you go to the nail salon, you got to really make sure that you are not allergic to the gel polish, the SNS dip powder, the acrylic, the UV light, all those things. Even things like hand sanitizers, you might think that those are actually really good for you, but there's so many hand sanitizers that are not really alcohol based and they have so many other things in it, and that can trigger your skin. You also have to look out for soaps, makeup, if you wear makeup, hair care products as well, that like anything you put on the hair will seep down to your shoulders, your back, your chest, right? The back of your ears. And then, of course, if you aren't treating your eczema, it's going to cause a contact dermatitis, which is flare-ups triggered by allergies. So again, stay away from anything scented, even natural essential oils like lavender, eucalyptus, those kinds of things. It's just really recommend that you stay away from it. If you want to really heal and protect and hydrate your skin and calm it down, you can use things like oatmeal. I know that Aveeno sells oatmeal baths on Amazon. You can put that in the bathtub, and if you're experiencing eczema all over your body, I highly recommend that you get those and maybe use them once a week. You can also do DIY masks. You can use turmeric, which is a natural ingredient that you cook with, but it's also really, really good for inflammation. Whether you use it in your smoothies or you use it in a DIY mask, super, super recommended. You don't want to over pour turmeric because it can stain your face. You don't want to walk around looking like a carrot, but it's definitely going to help. You can also use unfiltered raw honey because it is antibacterial. And then if you want to add a lemon, do that, a banana, and then also aloe, which has a lot of hydrating water in it. You can use that. I really recommend you drink aloe water. You just do as much hydrating things that you can. The skin is really, really praying and begging for water. So if you can, give it all the hydration that you've got. Moving on to rosacea. Rosacea is redness of the skin. This could be due to several factors, dermatitis, psoriasis, rosacea, lupus, dry skin, etc. There is no cure to rosacea, but there are treatment options. Treatment differs, sorry, I think I've made a typo. It differs, right? Depending on how bad your rash is. If your redness is due to increased blood flow, you can use a small hack I saw a doctor talk about. It's nasal spray, Afrin nasal spray, and it's definitely going to help constrict your blood vessels, which is going to limit the redness. Other temporary fixes include color correction if you wear makeup. The green color correction is going to cancel out any red skin, while pink and oranges also cancel out highly pigmented areas in the skin. An acid that will also be your friend is azelaic acid. Skin concerns, causes. Next slide. Yeah, that one. Thank you. Diet. This is a no-brainer. You are what you eat. You have to be super conscious of what you're eating, because the food is going to really just show out in the skin, whether that be internally, but also externally. I know that before I went vegan in 2017, my skin was really, really bad with the cystic acne. And I saw dermatologists and they told me there is no cure. All you have to do is keep coming in, keep sticking needles in my face, which were painful, and just really, it dimmed my confidence level. I'm also an artist, so like my face really is a lot for me. And when I went vegan, my skin cleared up tremendously. And if you are not someone who wants to go vegan, then don't go vegan. I'm not here to push an agenda, but I will say that when you consume more plant-based foods, it's definitely going to help, because plant-based foods are heavy in water, as well as minerals and vitamins and adaptogens, which essentially that's what we're made of. We're 80% water. So you have to be careful with eating like foods with a high glycemic index, because those are going to increase your acne as well as your inflammation. And then most definitely, if you can, cut out dairy. Dairy. It's just a no-no. Like, if you want to eat a steak, that's your prerogative, but cut out dairy. Like, there's so many great alternatives for non-dairy milk and cheeses. But these dairies are just, they have so much additional hormones that cause all of your inflammation in the skin. And then foods like French fries, soda, processed meats, refined carbs like white rice and pastas, though butter, like that's going to cause inflammation in the skin. Whereas natural foods that will help inflammation are turmeric, like I mentioned earlier, pineapples, tomatoes, olive oil, green leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, nuts like almonds, walnuts, fruits, strawberries, blueberries, cherries, oranges. And then if you really can't lay off the pasta, there are now like pasta sources that are made from chickpeas as well as red lentils, which I've actually incorporated into my own diet as well. Outside of allergies from products, diet is a leading cause of eczema. So eggs, dairy, lactose can cause acne, but also eczema flare-ups. And if you can't cut that out, or you cut it out and it's just not changing anything, then I still recommend that you see a dermatologist. Slide. The sun is, again, I'm probably going to say this 5 times, but the sun is, it's going to cause age spots. It's going to cause hyperpigmentation. It's going to cause scarring. Like I got stung by a jellyfish in Puerto Rico, and I use one of the oils within my own company, which helps with scarring and sunburn. But I use this oil, and I also wear SPF literally everywhere. I think a lot of people forget to put SPF on their elbows, their arms, the back of their hands, the back of their ears if they're exposed, the back of the neck, the chest. Like, you should be wearing SPF like everywhere, because it's, especially if you drive. If you drive, you will notice such a difference in your skin when the sun is hitting one side of your arm and not the other. So you have to be really proactive about applying SPF, and then also, if you have darker skin, I've heard so many darker skin people say, well, I'm Black, like I'm good. And it's like, but no, like the sun doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter how much melanin you have, you still have to protect it. It's the #1 cause of aging. If you do not wear sunscreen and you spend hundreds of dollars on facials and skin products and all of these wonderful things for your skin, but you don't wear SPF, you can say goodbye to all your money, and you can say goodbye to all the time that you spent really trying to take care of your skin, and you just do it out the window. So please, please wear SPF, and know that the sun will definitely cause a lot of these issues that you can avoid. Slide. Stress. Stress. Your body is, it's a responsive system. Like, it's just going to respond to whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're eating, whatever you're drinking. Again, largest organ in the body, right? It feels your emotions. So when you're really stressed out, it shows in your under eyes, in random pimples. It shows, right? Not just in your energy, but also on your skin. So there's so much that happens in the skin when you are really stressed out. And one of the things that happens is your natural collagen in your body tends to break down. And the thing about collagen is it's a protein that's meant to be there to provide elasticity, to provide youthful glow, to really help your hair shiny, to really keep you youthful and bright. And once we pass our late 20s, early 30s, our body just naturally stops producing it. So we have to start consuming collagen. While there is a bunch of collagen on the market that promotes grass-fed cows, because collagen does come from cow bones and fish bones, there are vegan alternatives that do exist. in which promote the amino acids and the production of your own body's natural collagen. But if you find that you are extremely stressed out, what I really recommend is that you take natural herbs like ashwagandha. It's really going to assist you with stress management. I really recommend that you try some breathing techniques, even if you have like a stress ball. Even if you have a stress ball, I'm going to tap into the sunscreens with harmful ingredients in a bit. But if you have like something to really like calm you down, a method, listen to sound healing frequencies. You can find this on Spotify, on iTunes. If you type in like, you know, some spa music or, you know, just like releasing negative vibrations or energy, that kind of thing, and really meditate. Especially if you have a busy lifestyle, you need to make sure that you are minimizing your stress because it's going to reflect on your skin. If you have like any major illnesses like cancer and things like that, I can't tell you how to feel. Like everything that you are going through is valid, but you do have to try to minimize your stress levels every single day. And if you have something that's really steady, a routine, a ritual to help deal with your stress, your anxiety, your depression, that's going to help you a lot. For me, it's I rise every morning. I express gratitude for waking up, for my breath, for everything that I have. I do a 10-minute meditation. I stretch. I do yoga. I listen to really positive vibrational music like Tony Jones. I'll listen to a podcast to just do a little mental reframing. I'll exercise to get my body going and the endorphins going, which is really good for the body and the brain. But I'm minimizing my stress at all costs. You will not see me stressed, so I hope you're not stressed either. Moving on. Another concern is imbalance of the chakras, specifically the crown chakra, which targets your mental, your brain. Things that you put on your hair will definitely trigger and affect your brain. And our skin really can manifest a lot of disorders. You know, all of the disorders and concerns we just mentioned. But although skin issues can surface as a result of poor diet, stress, hormonal issues, and skincare regimens, they can also surface as a result of the crown chakra imbalance, as I mentioned. If this is the case and you're not really sure, if you are tied to your source, your spirit, God, whomever you really believe in, whatever that you can tap into outside of this 3D external world, you really should, just to kind of align your body. Because I find that when there is such a misalignment, there's so much chaotic energy running through the body, and it does affect the skin, as well as the hair. People's hair starts to fall out because of these things. And it's just something to really be mindful of and really take care of. Outside of imbalances are also product sensitivity, dirty phones. How often are we really cleaning this? How often are we cleaning it and just, you know, sanitizing it? Dirty hands. We're always touching our faces when we don't even know. Like, it's just like, you know, second nature at some point. Dirty pillowcases. You have to be cleaning your pillowcases once a week minimum, because, you know, especially if you're not washing your face at night, like you're going all day with all this environmental dirt and pollutants touching your face, and then you put your head on the pillow, and if you're not wearing a wrap, you got all the products from your hair touching your pillow, touching your face. That's that contact bacteria that's really just going to irritate and just not do anything good for the face. When you're sweating, you have to make sure that you are cleaning your body immediately when you're sweating. Otherwise, you're going to have acne. And then also not being on the right routine for your skin type and your skin concerns can truly mess up your skin, as well as not being consistent. So you want to make sure that you are washing your face in the daytime and at night, not just once a day. And then also when you do wash your face, wash it 2 times per time you wash, because the first wash, again, only removes the external layers and dirt, while the second really gets in and cleanses the pores. So now we're going to move on to treatment. SPF. There are two types of SPF. We're first going to talk about chemical sunscreen. Chemical sunscreen uses chemicals to filter out the sun's damaging UV rays. It allows UV light into the skin. Once the light is absorbed into the skin, the chemicals in the sunscreen creates a chemical reaction in which UV light is converted to heat, and the heat dissipates from the skin. Common chemical sunscreen ingredients such as oxybenzone may bleach and damage coral reefs, so it's really not good for the environment. Chemical sunscreens may also cause reactions in certain people. You can have allergies if you are someone with sensitive skin, or worse, it can worsen your melasma or rosacea if you're someone who's experiencing that. The other sunscreen slide is mineral sunscreen. Slide, thank you. Mineral sunscreen usually takes longer to blend in. So you're gonna wanna use a face lotion or a moisturizer right before. Mineral sunscreens though physically block ultraviolet radiation with ingredients like titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. As such, mineral sunscreen is sometimes called physical sunscreen or sunblock. Mineral sunscreens are also ideal for children, people with sensitive skin, people with melasma, rosacea, eczema. The heat dissipation of chemical sunscreen can exacerbate melasma, like I mentioned. And unlike chemical sunscreens, which take typically 20 to 30 minutes to absorb into the skin, mineral sunscreen will offer immediate protection. So you don't have to wait. The only downside that a lot of people tend to have about mineral sunscreen is that it leaves a white cast, right? But nowadays there's so many mineral sunscreens that do not do that, that really absorb into the skin quickly. And you can use it on top of your makeup. You can use it under your makeup. You can use it with other skincare products. And then also, yeah, like I mentioned, a lot of them don't leave a white cast if you're really, really resourceful. I use my own sunscreen, which is also made with zinc oxide. And then also it has hyaluronic acid, which is really good for hydration. So there's been this really big study on cancer-causing carcinogens in our sunscreens. And I know that a lot of people were really upset about it because sunscreen is there to protect you. Sunscreen is supposed to protect you. You're supposed to rely on it. You're supposed to like have just the utmost faith that these products that you find on the shelves in drugstores are there to help you. And unfortunately, like a lot of products on the market, especially in the beauty industry with skincare, with makeup, with fragrance, with perfume, like all of these beauty products that we use regularly that are essential, they have a lot of chemicals that actually do more harm than good. And what's really bad is that the FDA really regulates all of these chemicals. They don't ban any of them. There are over 1,400 toxins and chemicals in our essential products every day. And people think it's normal because it's literally in almost every product that you have access to. And I think that's such a problem. And so it's wonderful that Valisure performed this study and it detected benzene in Johnson & Johnson sunscreens, right? Some of the 5 that they recalled were the Neutrogena Beach Defense Aerosol, Neutrogena Cool Dry Sport Aerosol, Neutrogena Invisible Daily Defense Aerosol, Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Aerosol, and Aveeno Protect and Refresh Aerosol Sunscreen. There's so many more. If you Google Valisure benzene in sunscreen, you're gonna find the website which talks very, very detailed about the study. And it's going to give you a list of all the sunscreens that have been recalled that have benzene in them, but also a list of sunscreens that do not, if you're looking for something else on the market. Something to be really, really careful of. You don't want to have an allergic reaction either to using something that's supposed to help you. Slide. More in treatment is diet and water. Pretty simple. Our bodies are made up of 80% water, 20% greens, vitamins, minerals, adaptogens. If you're not eating a lot of plant-based foods, if you're not eating a lot of fruits, vegetables, you need to. If you find that you're struggling, I have something within my own company that provides 37 fruits and vegetables in one serving. Water, you want to consume water, but water-based fruits, watermelon, celery, like all of these things are super, super good. Also, what will really help is sea moss. If you can get some locally grown sea moss, and you have to be careful because sea moss is becoming really trendy. Get you some sea moss that's real and not fake. Sea moss has 92 out of 102 vitamins and minerals in our bodies. So you can put this in your soups, in your smoothies, in your tea, and you will literally be doing your skin a service if you consume these things. Slide. Proper cleansing. I talked about proper cleansing. You want to cleanse twice a day, 2 times a day. And we already talked about why. Slide. Clean products. You have to pay attention to the ingredients on every single product that you have. And remember that the front of a product is literally there for entertainment, the back, education. And I have a marketing degree, so I'm very, very aware of how all of these tactics are put into place. Excuse me. People in marketing companies who work for brands, like really, really big corporate brands, they're following the trends. And right now, especially with COVID, everyone is super, super conscious of the things that they're putting in their bodies as well as on their bodies. They want to be healthier. They want to be healthier. And the more and more people are aware of all the toxins placed in all of these essential items, you have to be super conspicuous and meticulous about reading every ingredient and knowing what it is. The more you know about ingredients, the more you can be aware of what you place on your skin. And remember, it does take 26 seconds for products that hit your skin to touch your bloodstream. Therefore, it will cause a long-term reaction and possible illnesses. I have friends who have brain tumors and they're not even 30. It's just something to just really, really be mindful of. I read a study that 85% of toxins that came from women came from the products that they use and not the food that they ate. So it's just something to really not overlook and don't take for granted. I use apps like Think Dirty. Now, I'm not a paid, sponsor for them, but one of the things to keep in mind is the internet. There's so much on the internet, and anyone can publish anything on the internet. And Think Dirty was founded by a marketing businesswoman. So you need to be careful. Like even the EWG, like all of these apps that are meant to vet products, to make sure that you're using clean stuff. Like there are some aspects to the apps that allow people to pay their way through to being labeled as clean. So like I know for a fact on Think Dirty, there's a check mark literally behind the brand name, and that tells you that they paid to be listed as whatever they're listed as. So it's just something to be mindful of. But Think Dirty does break down product ingredients and what they do to the body. So it will tell you if this is a possible carcinogen. It will tell you if it can give you an allergy, and so forth. But it'll also break down how clean and how dirty the ingredient and the product is from 0 to 10. Anything in the green 0 to 3 is safe and clean, and anything above is just dirty and not good. Skin Deep, I'm gonna check that one out. Thank you. And then also, just something to keep in mind, the FDA really does regulate, beauty products that have over 1,600 ingredients that are toxic. So while the European Union only allows 11. So it's just something to really think about. And then we really haven't had any changes to our cosmetic bills since 1938, which is really unfortunate, even though there are people who are trying to pass bills, but they're still being set in Congress and the Senate. So just something to keep in mind. The acids. The typical acids that you want to just kind of keep in mind are BHAs, AHAs, and PHAs. You must use sun protection when you're using these products. Otherwise, because they are kind of like a chemical exfoliant, they're going to damage your skin. So they're there to help you, but they can also damage your skin if you're not using them correctly. If you're using them together, like there's just some BHAs and some AHAs that are just good for certain skin concerns, whereas others just aren't. And then also you shouldn't be blending them. If you're gonna use a few different types, you're definitely gonna wanna space it out, like I said earlier, in the daytime and at night. So BHAs are, slide, beta hydroxy acids. And they're a group of acids predominantly made up of salicylic acid in the skincare products, but also it's an acid that's naturally found in a tree, white willow. It's really good for aging skin. BHA increases cell renewal, which gives great results on fine lines, wrinkles, and sun damage. AHAs, slide, are alpha hydroxy acids, and they're a group of acids that are naturally found among other things like fruit, milk, sugarcane. AHAs are exfoliating to varying degrees, with glycolic acid being the most powerful one in the group. For aging skin, it's going to help increase the skin's cell renewal, which is going to help smooth out scars and wrinkles and even out pigmentation. For dry skin, lactic acid is an AHA that's going to suit a dry skin best, as it binds well with moisture in the skin. And then this group also, for sensitive skin, this group also includes Mandelic acid, which is ideal for slightly more sensitive types or acne-prone skin due to its inflammatory effect. Slide. Oh, I need some water. PHAs are polyhydroxy acids, and they have larger molecular compounds than AHAs. So that means that they're going to penetrate more slowly into the skin, and thus they're not going to exfoliate as strongly as AHAs and BHAs. PHAs also bind moisture to the skin and acts as antioxidants. Examples of PHAs in the skin are I cannot pronounce this word for the life of me, forgive me, gluconolactone and lactobionic acid. The gluconolactone gently exfoliates and improves moisture retention. So you can use PHAs for sensitive and dry skin. These mild acids are excellent for all types of sensitives and dry skin, such as eczema or rosacea. And then where aging skin their antioxidant benefits will help to protect the skin's collagen against degradation. So also one more, I want to just touch base when it comes down to these acids. You can go back, please. Oh no, you can stay there. You can stay there, sorry. Here's a chart that really helps you figure out, if you want to screenshot this, definitely screenshot it. This chart is going to help you figure out which acids to look for. Mature skin is otherwise known as aging skin. Fading pigmentation, more so for scars, hyperpigmentation, age spots, right? These are kind of acids that are really, really beneficial. So you can take a screenshot of this, but I'm going to talk a little bit about different types of acids. So you guys have a little more information. No, you can go back. Sorry, you can go back. Yeah, just stay on that slide real quick. So yeah, like I mentioned earlier, hyaluronic acid has to be, you have to put it on damp skin. Otherwise, if you put it on dry skin, it can lead to increased transepidermal water loss, which is going to lead to dehydrated and dry skin. Hyaluronic acid will plump the skin, firm the skin, right? Salicylic acid, BHA, exfoliates pores, great for oily skin. The glycolic acid is really, really good for acne fighting. It's an AHA. It's really good at exfoliating skin, reducing fine lines, preventing acne, fading dark spots, increasing skin thickness, evening out skin tone and texture. And then also it can be used for peels, like treating acne, like chemical peels, sometimes used in microneedling, but use of glycolic acid also increases sun sensitivity, even when it's not on the skin. So you do need to use sunscreen as well to prevent extra sun damage. Mandelic acid is derived from bitter almonds. And sorry, someone's calling me. It's going to be less irritating to the skin because it has a larger molecular structure. So it's not going to penetrate as deeply as glycolic acid would. So for this reason, it's commonly recommended in peels instead of glycolic acid, particularly for ethnic skin, which is more prone to rebound pigmentation. Rebound pigmentation occurs when a resistance is built up to a particular substance due to excessive use. And then this cause can, the substance to not only be ineffective, but often cause it to have the opposite intended effect. And then ferulic acid. Ferulic acid is available in both supplement form as well as an anti-aging serum. It's primarily used to fight off free radicals, which plays a role in age-related skin issues, including age spots and wrinkles. It's also available as a supplement for intended daily use. It's also really good for anyone with diabetes and pulmonary hypertension. I think that's incredible. And then there's also azelaic acid, which I mentioned earlier, which helps with rosacea and acne. This acid is safe to use when you are pregnant. Again, that's azelaic acid. It's a compound that is found in wheat, in rye, in barley, and it can be used to treat rosacea and acne because it soothes inflammation. And it also treats sunspots, melasma, and blocks the production of abnormal pigmentation. So that one is pretty cool. And then citric acid is an antioxidant that helps with balancing out the pH levels of the skin. But I do want to also say, pro tip, the higher the concentration, the more likely the acid will irritate the skin. So it's always recommended that you do a patch test and start with the lower concentration before moving up. You can patch test behind the ear, or you can patch test literally on the side of like near your jaw. Many acids offer multiple benefits, and since they come in many different formulations, it's possible to use more than one. And brands will often advertise these active acids in cleansers, in serums, in toners, and more, right? But really do check the ingredient list to make sure that the acid is the active ingredient, which is going to be listed at the top, not at the bottom. And as I mentioned earlier, do not mix face acids. Don't use a salicylic acid with any other acid at the same time. It's going to cause extreme skin irritation and when you mix it. So if you know someone who has really, really bad acne, salicylic acid is great, but don't mix it with anything else at the same time. Avoid salicylic acid with products that contain niacinamide. Don't use glycolic acid or lactic acid in combination with vitamin C. This will cause the vitamin C's benefit to disappear even before it began to work, right? Avoid using AHAs with retinol. To get around this, like I mentioned earlier, organize your acids daytime and nighttime, and then you'll get the benefits of all of them. So slide. I'm almost done, and then we're going to do questions. So treatments continued. Serums, vitamin C, again, brightening, antioxidant. It's going to supercharge your sunscreen. It's going to give you a skin glow. It's going to have your skin looking very dewy. And it's going to minimize any like hyperpigmentation, and it's also going to build collagen. Retinol is also going to improve texture, tone, fade wrinkles, fade dark spots, boost collagen as well, treat acne. And as I mentioned earlier, do not use these with other exfoliants, which are also considered the acids we talked about. You can use retinol 2 to 3 times a week. Collagen, like I mentioned earlier, comes in many forms from animals. You can use vegan alternatives, but you definitely want to make sure that you are consuming a collagen or a collagen key so that your body is reproducing the collagen to help the skin, the nails, the hair. Slide. You also want to detox. Some people really are afraid to detox. Maybe they've never done it before, but I really recommend that you detox at least 4 times a year. It could be done for 3 days. It could be done for 5. It could be done for 7. It could be done for 10. You know, but you want to detox every season. And the reason for that is sometimes we just kind of get caught up in our lifestyle and our diets and stuff. Excuse me. And we forget that we really need to cleanse our body and our skin, our brain, our energy, our spirit. Everything always feels really better after a detox. You have to let go of any toxins in the body. And they really consist of raw fruits and vegetables. You can do soups, you can do tea, you can do a lot of water, of course, because you have to remain hydrated. If you struggle with figuring out recipes, Pinterest is available and amazing. Like I did a 10-day raw vegan detox earlier this month, and Pinterest helped me out so much because I was consuming way more processed vegan alternative meats than I should have, and learned a lot, like creating walnut meat and stuff. So you want to definitely, you know, prepare yourself, learn these recipes, learn what's in them. So you go to the supermarket with a really good list and you're not wasting money getting anything you don't need. And then I also recommend everyone own a juicer. It's going to save your life because a blender is not sufficient to getting some veggies to really, really, you know, be down to the, you know, the pulp in which you need all the juice from them, like celery and carrots, right? You don't want chunks in your juices. You want a good, nice juice. And then, yeah, if you've never detoxed before, prepare yourself because it will be challenging, especially for the first 1 or 2 days, especially if you drink a lot of coffee. Coffee robs your body of its minerals. I hate to say it. It is a caffeine, it is a drug, but it's also a diuretic. So it's going to rob your body of minerals. So you really need to start looking into more healthier alternatives like tea, like energy drinks that are made from green coffee beans versus black. If you need assistance with that, I got you. But then also steer clear of eating so much meat because meat doesn't process in 24 hours. So you have dead animals living in your digestive tract, which can cause parasites, which can cause laziness, lack of energy, can cause breakouts, and so forth. Slide. Exercising is a really great way to treat your skin as well. Sweating is the skin's version of a physical detox. I like to say that when you're sweating, your skin is literally crying. It's like crying happy tears. But it's also going to release endorphins and serotonin levels in your brain, which is naturally going to uplift your mood and cancel out any lower vibrational brain chemicals that cause stress and depression. So it's naturally going to help clear your skin. Just make sure that you always cleanse right after you're sweating and try not to wear tight clothes because that can cause your body to suffocate as well as cause acne on the skin. Slide. And this is my last slide before we do questions. Facial steams. Steaming the face is so beautiful. It feels luxurious. It's so beneficial to detoxing the skin, but also to prepping the skin to apply serums and also to do any extractions. If you do them at home, there are tools that help you extract your skin so you're not using your face, your fingers, and you're not causing any scarring later. If you are trying to pop a pimple and you did not steam your face, what are you doing? Like, you are doing a disservice to your skin, right? So it's also going to help with blood flow. And you can use a facial steamer you can get anywhere, Amazon, Sephora, Walmart, I don't know. But one of the natural holistic things I love to do is a pot. I do a steam pot, and I call it a respiratory steam pot. And I just put rose petals for high vibration. I put eucalyptus, I put mint, I put oranges slices, I put lemon slices, lime slices, I put bay leaves, I put oil of oregano, I put rosemary oil. And then if you can get menthol crystals, that's key. Because this pot is not only going to help your skin, it's going to help your respiratory system. I started doing this in 2020, and I have never gotten a cold or flu or a cough since I was really sick with COVID in January of 2020. So it's going to combat colds and flus, but it's also going to help your skin. And there's other things that can help you combat colds and flus, but this is not the conversation for it. So that is basically everything I have for you when it comes down to skin. Does anyone have any questions? I think Ali is going to tackle questions, and then I'll answer them.
Hey everyone, so I'm back. I realized a couple things as we were doing this. My Wi-Fi wasn't super strong, so I apologize about the slides. I was going and they were not coming to you quick enough. And B, okay. I started the slides, I started filming a little bit after you started. So I just want to pop up the first slide again with Aurea's information. You can find her at Aurea G Official on Instagram. We also are going to be posting this video onto our YouTube. So if you want that information later, you can have it. And I can also send everybody her slides. She's graciously allowed me to send everyone her slides. So if you want to see something later, don't feel stressed writing it down. I will send it to everybody. Thank you so much, Aurea. What a wealth of information you just gave to all of us. We did a bunch of questions. I'm going to start with the ones that I've seen most often throughout this. Do you have any recommendations of particular, I'm assuming mineral sunscreens?
Yes, I use my own sunscreen. Literally, it's called Sunveil. I have this within my own company. If you want access to this, you can message me directly. Again, this has zinc oxide in it. It has also hyaluronic acid. It doesn't leave a white cast. It's really good for all skin types. And I can hook you up. So I recommend that. I personally do not use any other sunscreen outside of my own, just because I'm not as trustworthy when it comes to drugstores.
Thank you. And so we have a great question, which says, can you use hyaluronic acid and vitamin C drops between your serum and moisturizer?
Yes, you can. I use it all the time in the daytime. So what I do is, like, right after I shower, and my skin is literally damp and fresh, the pores are open from the steam, I go right in with the hyaluronic acid. You do not want to pat dry, because again, it's going to adverse the effects of the hyaluronic acid on your skin. But you're going to want to really let that sit before you apply your vitamin C. I really recommend that you apply vitamin C. It's really going to set your skin for brightening, glowing. Also give it just benefits and medicine that it really needs. It's also going to lighten the skin. I also saw a question about using vitamin C under the eyes. Yes, and yes, and yes. Especially if you have dark circles. Like, I applied under my eyes. I applied everywhere. I applied on the neck. I applied it on your décolletage. You don't want to neglect this area, because your neck and your décolletage will definitely age quicker than your face. People tend to, take care of the face and forget this area. And a lot of times you're wearing cut, shirts, or you're at the beach or the pool, and this area will tend to age quicker, or pigment quicker, or redden quicker. So you want to use vitamin C and hyaluronic acid and moisturizer and all serums that you apply on your face all over here as well.
Great, thank you so much. And I think that's an awesome point. I have a great question here about oral probiotics. Like, should you use an oral probiotic to improve your skin? I'm assuming they're talking about like the pill version of probiotics.
Yeah, yes, I agree. So probiotics are meant to cleanse your gut. It's all about gut health. Literally, the gut, like I was talking a little bit about diet, the gut is a huge, huge area in what affects your skin outside of your energy. Probiotics are meant to cleanse the body, the digestive tract. But the problem about most probiotics is they're just a probiotic that has no protection. And so they break and they basically just kind of how's the word? Disintegrate, or you know what I mean. It breaks down in the small or the large intestines versus the colon, which is where you need it. So I actually provide a probiotic that's encapsulated in a prebiotic. So it's protecting the bacteria so it reaches the colon where it's needed. And then if you take that, literally when you get up, like the ritual is take a shot of key lime to block any mucus so you don't get sick. Take your probiotic with 16 ounces of water before you consume anything. No coffee, no breakfast. It's going to have you go to the bathroom. It's going to cleanse you out, but it's going to help your skin so much, and it's going to minimize bloating. Your gut is going to definitely thank you, but your skin is going to love that. I really recommend that.
And also another question that I think is a great one is, can you recommend any vegan collagen sources? Because I know a lot of people want to use collagen, but then they have that concern that it's absolutely not vegan. So I also am one of those people that I've tried pseudo collagens, and it's just about finding the right one. So maybe you can give us a good.
Yeah, I provide a vegan collagen. I don't know anyone else that does. Honestly, I started this business in December, and it was in December where I learned collagen came from cow bones and fish bones, and I was hurt because I had been a vegan for a few years at that point, and I felt so I just felt so lost and so upset at myself for not knowing that information, but thankful for learning it regardless. So I have a vegan collagen key. It's amino acids that really produce the collagen in your body, and it tastes like peaches. You just put it in your smoothies or in your water. If you have a frother, which is like a handheld machine, I really recommend getting that. It's like $12 at a local store like a Walmart or Amazon. I use that with my Total Greens and my energy powder as well, which is just a healthier alternative to coffee, and then my probiotics. But the collagen key, I do have that available. So if you want to message me privately, I can definitely hook you up as well.
And then the last one, I think maybe more information for us about the steaming options. One of our patrons that writes in saying that they've read that steaming can open up your pores and can cause more acne. So maybe you can speak onto that a little bit.
Yes. So the thing about acne and steaming is if you have acne, you have to be careful on how you steam. So if you're steaming and you have your steam up here, it's going to really damage your skin because the heat is too much. So you have to use it like at a good like spatial distance, so you're not harming your skin, but you're getting the benefits of steaming and opening up the pores and prepping it to place any serums, any acids, any moisturizers afterwards. That's one of the things I learned from my esthetician friend while we were doing these skin talk series as well, because I love steaming and I used to hold my thing down here, and she was like, girl, what are you doing? So, just relaying that information. I'm glad you asked because a lot of people don't know how to steam properly according to their skin type and concerns. That's something to keep in mind.
All right, I think that's all the questions we had for today. Aurea, thank you so much for joining us. This is such a wealth of knowledge. I hope everybody, thank you everybody for joining us. And we hope we'll see you next time. I'm going to be putting this probably up on YouTube probably tomorrow afternoon if you want to rewatch. We also have shared Aurea's, I think on Instagram, I added you. So you can find her there. You can also find her on social media right here at the top. Thank you so much for joining us, and hope everyone has a beautiful evening and a happy summer. Bye.
Have a great night. Bye.